Hi everyone, greetings. Welcome to Module 4A, Introduction to Building Code UBBL Part 1. I'm Architect Technologist Azrul Ismail and I'm going to be your lecturer for this module. Take a closer look on this book front page. It says Uniform Building Bylaw 1984. So this is actually the building codes that we are going to refer when we design a building in Malaysia. Where does this bylaw comes from? The bylaw actually comes from the Street Drainage and Building Act 1974, or known as Act 133. Under this act, Section 133, it says the state authority shall have the power to make bylaws for or in respect of every purpose which is deemed by him necessary for carrying out the provisions of this act and for prescribing any matters which is authorized or required under this act to be prescribed, and in particular and without prejudice to the generality of the foregoing for or in respect of all or any of the matters specified hereunder. In a summary, these UBBLs derive from Section 133 of SDBA Act. Other states outside Peninsular Malaysia, like Sabah and Sarawak, they have their very own bylaws. For example, Building Ordinance 1994 used by Sarawak government. Okay, what is UBBL? By definition, it's a building code which provides minimum requirement for the control and construction of street, drainage and building in local authorities area. The key objective is to ensure safety and health of the building occupants and the public. A subsidiary law under Street and Drainage Building Act 1974 SDBA, standardized building regulation for the whole Malaysia, formulated by federal government and passed down to state government to be gazetted, being improved from time to time through amendments. For example, UBBL 1984, 1985, 1986, and 2012. Being adopted and enforced by local authority, LA, under state government through project submitting person, SP, and building or landowner. Local authority function is to control development in concurrent with its statutory role as planning authority. Imposed to submitting person like architects, engineers, and other qualified person as compulsory requirement in designing and construct buildings. This is also known as legal responsibility. Compliance leads to Certificate of Completion and Compliance, CCC, for building. Let's have a look at one sample of local authority submission drawings by architects. As you can see from the slide, there will be a project title on the right side of the drawings. And there's one section saying that arkitek berkuasa, saya memperagui bahawa perinci-perinci dalam pelan ini adalah menurut kehendak-kehendak Undang-Undang Kecil Bangunan Seragam 1984 dan saya setuju terima tanggungjawab penuh dengan sewajarnya. This shows that whatever drawings that architects or engineers submit to the local authority, he has the legal responsibility towards it. And this is being spelled out inside the UBBL. What is the objectives of UBBL? Well, number one, it is to set a standardized building regulation for Malaysia to be implemented by submitting person or building professional. Secondly, outline the legal responsibility of submitting person and owner in making sure the law is in place to protect the public interest. Thirdly, to regulate building in the area of planning, design, material, structure, construction, and fire safety with reference to standard and local laws. Number 4 is to provide standard methods of building plans submission, fees, forms, permits, and certifications. Last but not least, it is to give a certain degree of power to local authority like MBPJ, DBKL, MPKB, or even Bomba dan Penyelamat Malaysia to regulate and enforce the law. The advantages of uniform building by law. Well, firstly, it established uniformity of standards throughout Malaysia, easier to comply and enforce. Imagine each and every state in Malaysia having their very own standards to comply. It's very hard to follow. Second, regulate planning, design, and construction of buildings. Thirdly, save costs and expedite application, processing, and approval of development applications. You may search for OSC, which stands for One Stop Center by the local authority. This is one way of many how local authorities simplify the process of application, processing, and approvals. Next, provided a comprehensive requirements relating to building design and planning via rules and schedules. There are schedules and formula that submitting person have to comply in their design. Next, specify the eligibility of the submitting person with their responsibility and duties. Record and register compliance from all construction stage, search metric responsibility, and the G forms. Lastly, emphasizes and applied Malaysian standard or MS or British standard BS into the requirement. This is to ensure the minimum requirement is complying with the international standards. Now, let's flip through the Green Book. Inside the UBBL 1984, it is divided into chapters or called parts. There are 9 parts altogether. Part 1 is on the preliminaries. Part 2 is on the submission of plan for approval. Part 3 is on the space, light, and ventilation. Part 4, temporary works in connection to building operations. Part 5, structural requirements. Part 6, constructional requirement. Part 7, fire requirement. Part 8, fire alarm, fire detection, fire extinguishment, and fire access. And lastly, Part 9, miscellaneous. Please take note that the bylaw numbers run continuously across the part. And at the end of the books, there are schedules 1 until 10 that we need to refer when we read the bylaws. The challenges of UBBL. Malaysia is not entirely urbanized. Uniformity of application of standards tends to affect smaller urban or rural areas. New building technology, materials, and construction technique may facing conflict with the existing rules or standard in UBBL. The bylaw needs to be dynamic and revised from time to time. May not cover for special design, risk or purpose building, for example, oil and gas refinery plant, nuclear power plant, and etc. A special consideration need to be outlined with local authority, such performance base. Generic ruling may lead to different interpretations. However, local authority have always come with the additional circular to itemize any arising issues. I think that will be all for this time around, and stay tuned for the next module. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.